Hello, everyone. No Life here, and it has been well over a week since the last update for TCM has come out. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I did plan on putting this video out Monday. However, with there being so many different things going on at once, ranging from DVD's 2v8 mode to the much anticipated Marvel Rivals beta, which I managed to score a key for. I'm not gonna lie, I haven't been playing TCM as much as I wanted to, but I finally managed to get some more time into it after I realized just how long, once and foremost, the lobby times for the killer section of the DVD's 2v8 was, and of course the Marvel Rivals beta ended. So I now have more than enough experience with the update and all those changes for me to have been able to put a proper verdict out, and here we are now. So first and foremost, we'll get straight into it with the museum mode. I did a dedicated video on the 2v8 mode, so I'll link that down in the description if you wanted my full thoughts on it. But a brief summary I'll say for it right now is ranging from puzzles, photo ops, and surprisingly the ability to
Booty shorts. A lot of
free roam
shorts for sale
around
on the fly.
while taking advantage of this camera feature that the 2v8 mode has. It definitely has a lot of cool things that I believe were worth the wait. So again, check out that video if you're more curious about museum mode. As there's way too much to cover about that mode for me to do it in this video. So rather than me trying to do it in an abridged version and pretty crappily at that, I'd rather you just check out that video. But next up on the list here, we have Cook's Filler Up outfit. So this is actually a pretty cool outfit. I definitely really enjoyed this outfit. I think again it was worth the wait for Cook's first unique outfit. One thing I did want to mention, however, though, is the image that showed preview of this outfit and the image we end up getting in game are not totally different, but the color is definitely different. The image here has him more in a beige kind of color setup like he has on his default outfit. However, the one we actually get here is more of a bluish, if not a grayish color, so I found that very odd. I guess it's kind of similar to what they did with the bloody outfits in Hitchhiker, where he didn't have nearly as much blood on him as he should have, and then they ended up going ahead and adding more blood to it. So I'm kind of glad that they made the outfit more of gray because it separates it from his default outfit a bit better. However, this is kind of a bit of a pain point as I actually like the way it looked in the beige, but also it just kind of screams we could easily have recolors for these outfits, but they just kind of chose not to, which I really don't like. As just like looking back at it, like for example, Sissy's wildflower outfit, they could have easily have given that one multiple color variants, such as more green military fatigue look, urban camo. Could have had like a pink camo. Like the list goes on, but hey, at least only 3.99, or actually no 2.99, thus cheaper than the victims, which is what 5.99. But moving on along here, we have suffocating grip. Suffocating grip. Surprisingly, the change from not only it being level 2 to level 1, but also 25 as opposed to 20 is a big difference with that perk. As theoretically, if you mash fast enough, you should be able to beat a full health target victim who has 15 strength. Now, I have never been able to do that. I don't know if more victims are specking their strength and fear this perk, or maybe I'm just not as good at button mashing as I think, but I have yet to be able to kill someone like Virginia, who only has 15 strength. Now, I have heard that Connie is bugged and she is getting way more starting value points towards winning a grapple than she should. Just to kind of keep this short, for those of you who do not know, the strength attribute affects grapples for victims in a sense that, depending on what the victim's strength is, they get starting points towards winning a grapple. So, for those of you again who do not know, the way grapples works is basically the first player who reaches the 100 point threshold in a grapple wins the fight. Each button tap is worth 3 points, and again, the victims start off with, let's say, for 15 strength, they start off with 15 points right away. Grip helps the family win same way Grappler does, as instead of 3 points per button tap, you get around like 4 points per button tap. So again, you have a bit of advantage per button press, but again, somewhere in a cold, something must be messed up with Connie, maybe even Virginia too, because again, haven't been winning grapples with Grip that I should have, and they must be getting like the same amount of early progress as, let's say, Leland with his 40 strength, where he gets around 40, give or take, towards winning a fight straight off the bat, which is why it's so tough to beat him, even though he has 20 toughness. Now, one thing I've noticed though is damaging victim is definitely a lot more impactful towards winning a fight with grip, as someone like Leland, who again, with his toughness and shrimp setup, when he's full health, you'll almost never beat him. However, when you get him low enough, just so much as one hit could give you the advantage you need to win. As you see this clip here, as far as I can tell, I haven't hit Leland one time, but with one hit with Sissy, I was able to beat this guy to grapple. Then another clip here, which is a better example. I got this Leland pretty low, which was indicated by how loud he starts screaming when he's low on health. And again, I was able to beat him in a grapple. So, getting them to lower than 50 health, as even seen again with my perspective here with Leland, is very impactful in winning. But again, um, the whole beating him at full health is definitely not guaranteed, but it's certainly nice if you can manage to do it. But it's usually provided by how bad that person is at mashing. But moving past a grappler, or rather grip, since I feel like I've kind of gone on with this topic way more than I should have. We have Nobody Escapes Sal. Now, this perk, the biggest change, in my opinion, was it being lowered down to level 2, as you have a better chance of activating it before so many locks are busted through that it becomes pointless. But the 10% still is quite impactful, as I've had plenty of occasions where I've used this perk and have caught someone on a lock before they've been able to pick it. However, much like using security pins on a cook padlock, unless you're babysitting that lock, it's not going to matter how hard it is to bust through if they have all the time in the world to do it. So don't be Nancy feeding Grandpa as Connie runs upstairs, use ability on one lock, and then slowly gets through the last one. You definitely want to do your due diligence, and again, make sure these locks are properly monitored so they don't manage to get out when they shouldn't have. Next, we have Brute Strength. Now, this one's a little harder to test, as in addition to victims all having different health values and being able to upgrade their attribute points to prevent um, themselves from being so squishy. The best example I could really do with this is just really by providing numbers to health and whatnot. So, Sunny, for example, the first one I killed here, he has 15 toughness. That gives him around 99 health points. The damage I have on my sissy is 19 savagery, so that makes her deal around 15 damage, give or take, per hit. So, doing the math here, it should have took me around 7 hits to kill Sunny. However, I poisoned him, so that extra 15 points of damage I get from poisoning him, combined with the 6 hits, was just enough for him to bleed out in front of me and me get the kill. We later on have this Honor here. I hurt her quite a bit through the match, but for some reason, someone always seemed to bodyguard her. I think it's because she's a baby and they're trying to look out for her or something. But she had to have healed herself, as she should have been able to have been killed with less than the hits I gave her here. So I'm gonna estimate she had around 90 health, and again, I was able to take her out at around the same hits as Sunny. So brute strength is gonna be more impactful on somebody with higher damage, such as like Leatherface or Johnny, or even Hands for that matter. But I still think that it's worth putting on, as it previously did around 10% extra damage before, so it definitely does at least 15 now, and that's big swings levels of damage. So that's definitely not something to turn your nose at, as you'd be amazed how scary Leatherface, for example, can be when he's got that 15 points of damage plugged into him, especially with some other damage perk, like let's say Serrator here, which lets me literally 3-tap a Connie here, who somehow managed to corner herself up on a door. But moving on, we have Swinging for the Fences. This is a perk that I always thought was pretty good, but it's a complicated perk, as with this clip with Nancy here, which has me doubling up on both swinging for the fences and don't have all day, which I'll get to in a bit. It really doesn't make any difference at all with, let's say, her base 15 endurance. So this is not going to do much for the Cook's base 10 endurance. However, if you use it on somebody with higher endurance, like let's say Johnny, you definitely will have better examples of this perk being more effective. But then likewise, it also is surprisingly effective on Leatherface, who I don't think people realize this perk works on. As I have some people who go over to his left side of the tree with big swings on Serrated, and for some reason they're over there memeing around using the chicken perk, trying to be funny or something, or maybe they think that'd be more useful, because I can definitely tell you from this clip here I have that swinging for the fences 100% works on Leatherface. Granted, I have the 20% star resistance on, but regardless, you can't argue with the facts here. I missed the overhead swing on Ana. Don't ask how or why, but thanks to me not losing so much of my rev meter here, I was able to charge it overhead just in time to go ahead and slam her at the door. I'm going to assume she used her ability, so it didn't really matter. I missed anyway, but I was able to get the last one or two hits I needed to finish her off here, which again would not have been possible if I was not able to, again, keep so much of my rev meter here, especially since I don't have scout, so I really need to charge that over to get as much speed as possible to even probably been able to get to that door. So again, if you're gonna go ahead and using base swings to serrate, don't be funny. Put swinging for the fences on. Thank me later. So next up, we have exterior alarms here. They increase the duration to 10 seconds as opposed to 5 like it was before, and I could definitely say it makes patrolling doors with this perk much better, as now there's pretty much no way in hell you're going to miss someone opening up a door. You can see here I had plenty of time to see this door's open, and I honestly think that it might even highlight longer than them slamming the door. So again, with you not having to spin your camera around so much to see doors highlighted, this is a great change and definitely makes it worth it when you finally do get to level 3 and activate this perk. Now, Excited Grandpa, this is a perk that took a little bit of effort to finally go ahead and get it working, but I'm finally able to go ahead and get a verdict on this one. For the most part, between level 3 and 4, I could not really notice the effects of this perk. Granted, I didn't really compare it with other clips of Grandpa at level 3 and 4 without this perk on. However, I can definitely say that at level 5 is where it's most effective. As level 3 and 4, I'd say Grandpa screamed on average around 30 to 40 seconds, but level 5, it was around every 20 seconds, which is just nuts, as you already have the fact that generally you're only going to get this perk activated around the time there's only one victim left, so being able to have, geez, the rare games where you're able to do this with 2, maybe even 3 or more victims alive is just nuts, as that's just so much pressure, as they literally will not be able to get much done within those 20 seconds of you not seeing where they are. So I probably recommend not running this perk unless you have a blood build on, so you can feed Grandpa fast enough to get him to 5 pretty early, as otherwise you're not going to get Grandpa to level 5 in time for it to be meaningful to have him scream as often as he does this perk on. Now finally getting back down to don't have all day. This perk, I already said in last week's video when I was going over the patch notes, it's useless, and I can confirm it still is useless at 25%. The problem with the stamina drain compared to the swings is, unlike swinging for the fences where high stamina you actually start to see a difference to the point that once you get into the high 40s you're saving up to around 10 swings with perks like this on. Don't have all day just doesn't meaningfully reduce your stamina consumption upon sprinting. So again, going back to that clip I showed earlier with Nancy, both swings and stamina drain unnoticeable. Going again to high stamina here, though, I slightly feel like I could see a bit of a difference here with the sprint time. Going from this first clip here where I'm chasing Anna around to the last clip here where I'm chasing Julie around. It seems slightly noticeable, but again, it's not so much so that I picked this over other perks you have in the tree. So if you didn't have anything else better, like you had the option of this and always in sync, I'd probably say screw it, run don't have all day. But otherwise, yeah, it's definitely a perk that you could miss out on, whether it's spec into a whole different side of the tree or just not using it at all, even if you do have it. So we have victims inventory and hands traps. I messed up. I definitely had a game where I could have showed a clip off of this, but I forgot to record it. But I could definitely show this image here and confirm that this will never happen again. I'd 100% disarmed one of Hans' Ripstall traps that he got from his level 3 ability, and I did not get it in my inventory. So, huzzah for that not happening, because that was a little bit annoying. We have a couple of stuff here on texture issues on the mill, but I'm not going to go over that. I didn't see him, so I think that's all that needs to be said. But before I end up getting a little too crazy with this video here, I'm going to go ahead and end it actually, as I believe I've just about covered everything that needs to be covered with this update. So there's actually a few announcements that happened that I wanted to go over too, but I'm going to go ahead and stop myself here before this video gets above the 20 minute mark here. And I'll say that I'll definitely go into that stuff on Wednesday, as I believe Thursday is the actual patch itself. I don't know why we're doing Thursday now. I was very comfortable in my Tuesday releases, but I guess that certification error on the other week's patch really screwed us over here. But regardless, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. So thank you guys so much for watching. This has been Low Life here, and as always, if you haven't already, get a life.